Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Nerdarchy Ryan, and today I'm joined by
Nathan Nerdarchy.
Nerdarchy Dave.
And today we talk about running circle around your enemies with the Speedster D&D character.
Jump down in the description below where you can find Nerdarchy, the newsletter. Gain RPG tips as well as learn how to game with Nerdarchy.
So we're going to build a character that's the fastest fighter on the field, or maybe other character classes. What would we do to build that?
So we're just looking for quickness here, right?
Yeah, we are.
So, quickness and maneuverability. I think it's about being fast, but it's also about getting around the battlefield.
Not being murdered by attacks of opportunity would be helpful.
So there's several races that stand out to me right off the bat. Obviously, the Wood Elf,
Right.
human variant, because you can grab mobility right out the door.
Yeah. Because the mobile feat is definitely something you're going to want with this type of build.
And for if you're playing in a game where your DMs are not wussies, you could definitely go with the Aarakocra or even the variant Tiefling as well, because both of them are flyers.
You get wings either which way.
Yes. And mobility just says movement. It doesn't, it doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure it just says movement.
Yeah, it does say movement. Yep.
So it's going to make you faster either way. And granted, it's not the fastest build, but you're gaining 3 dimensions.
Yeah, getting flight is amazing.
Yeah, and also the major boon of the mobile feat. So there is the extra 10 feet of movement, pretty sweet. Mm-hmm. But the best part about it is not drawing of attacks of opportunity for anybody that you don't have to hit them. You just need to attack them, right? So that's a pretty spectacular trait to it as well.
Now, the Lightfoot Halfling might be worth mentioning as well, only because...
So they get less feet of movement.
Yes.
Because they're little.
They're little. But they have the ability to move through other people's squares.
This is true. Right. So your own party, they're not obstacles to you, which is super handy. And you can use your party as human shields.
Yeah, so does it have to be a friendly square, or could they move through anybody's square?
I think it's ally. I think it specifically says ally. I'll look it up, you guys.
But I do believe, though, if it's large or bigger, though, I do believe they can because that's under the size rules.
Yeah.
So just as a general rule of thumb, they're going to be able to get underfoot more readily than others. Mm-hmm. So again, we also have a couple of key classes that you would want to think about stacking with those races as well.
Yeah.
We have Barbarian.
Yes.
Obviously.
And there's, the most obvious choices.
Oh, you know what? Back to the halfling, real quick. It just says creatures.
Yeah, that's what I
creatures
thought,
of sizes larger than yours, which is all of them, except for tiny creatures.
Except for goblins, you have to enlarge them first.
All right. Yeah.
So that definitely works. So we have the Barbarian, we have the Monk. They're right off the bat. They're classes that have their speed that increases. We also have the new Conclave Ranger.
Yes, the new Ranger with their Uber. They made what's the terrain ability that they get? What is that called?
It used to be Landstride, but it just falls under their Natural Explorer now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They made Natural Explorer way better, and now you're ignoring difficult terrain there.
And then I believe it's the Underdark one is the Master of the Blitz.
Right.
So you're talking about 3 levels of Ranger, and you're going to get pretty much become pretty awesome, because I believe your first round you get a +10 movement to your speed if you take the Stalker.
Right. So
if we're talking about building and either monk or Barbarian would work really nicely
alongside
the Ranger. I kind of like the Monk a little bit better because Rage keeps you from focusing or concentrating on spells. Where I believe, you might be able... I believe Long Strider is a first level spell.
Yeah.
Let's math this, right? You go mobility.
10 feet.
Wood Elf.
Okay, so that's another 5, 15, yep.
Okay, and we're also going to be good with our Dex and our Wisdom, which is very helpful.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be a Monk, so that's going to ratchet your...
As you level, yeah.
Yeah. As you level. 3 levels of Ranger.
Okay.
So that's going to give us 10 feet in our opening gambit.
So we're 45 plus, let's see. Let's look at the Monk and see where we are for... So, let's see. So we're going to get up to 17th level, so that's plus 25 feet, right? So that gives us 60 at that point? Am I mathing this right?
All right. So I'm gonna bring something up. What about, does anybody except the rogue get the dash action as a bonus action?
The monk, you can spend.
The ranger.
You can spend.
Okay, the ranger does.
Well, also monk, you can spend kai points, to use that. As
So that's
bonus action
covered.
as well.
So we don't need rogue levels.
No.
Now I would say, what about druid levels to be able to change into a beast that moves faster than your normal movement? Would that then just stack also with the monk and the ranger's abilities as well?
I know it absolutely would, and you would be able to. You'd also be able to. So you would need at least 3 levels of druid in order to do that, I believe. Or is it 2 levels? I forget. I think actually
they give
druid
that
2.
second, yeah.
They get it at 2. What level do you get the 25 movement from monk?
So monk for the 25 is going to be 14th level.
So you only need 14 levels of monk. If we're just talking about mobility on the battlefield, that's 17. That does free up 3 levels.
Because just the warhorse is 60 feet of movement.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Or a cheetah or something like that.
Yeah, or cheetah. I don't know what they are, but
Yeah, but
I'm
it's
sure
going
it's
to be based.
fast.
It's going to be based off of your CR, and if we're saying you're only going to get 3 levels, so you're only going to do a CR1 if you go Circle of the Moon.
Yeah, but
Well, lion's 50 feet, so, I mean, that's a pretty good combat creature, too. So.
yeah.
Well, yeah. So if you're talking at 50, and then you're going to.
But it would cancel out your wood elf. At that
It would
point.
cancel out your wood elf.
You know,
But when
5 for an extra, 20.
And not only that, you could also use your unarmored defense as well.
Oh, yeah,
in-
from the
in-
monk.
In place of your armor class from the animal.
Yeah, and also too that you have access to flurry of blows, which becomes furry of blows because you're an animal. So you get to do that.
Okay, when you first mentioned this build, and I was like, oh, yeah, let's build it. That would be funny. And I was like, no, this is actually really kind of funny.
This is lethal and lethal
and lethal
Yeah.
still. Yeah. Well, yeah, because lion's attack's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And, they're still natural attacks, so could you... No, you couldn't use your monk attacks as that, right? You've got to be in human form, right?
Yeah, it's got to be a monk weapon or
An
unarmed attack. I don't think the animal attacks really count. I think
you're
there was
armed.
I feel like there was a clarification from Merle specifically saying that if you're an animal, you're not using the monk attack.
So if you turn into an ape, for example, they have unarmed attack, but it still wouldn't be counting as...
Yeah.
See, now that's kind of a gray area. Like, I mean, it wouldn't be as effective for the build anyway.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking about being able to still hurt stuff.
So here's the thing: it's only your attacks are only a D8 at this point. And I feel like most animals are going to be like a D6, a D8 anyway.
So it's going to be close no matter
Yeah,
what.
so you're not really missing.
Yeah, the
out.
lion's got D8
And
attacks. So.
you can still flurry of blows, which is the more significant thing, I think.
Oh, yes,
in this.
that's true.
So and all that, because here's the great thing about the mobile feat that I've experienced from playing a wood elf monk. Is again not needing to hit things. You just need to make attacks at them, and then you're free to move about their space.
I feel like the flurry of blows is attached to using your unarmed combat, though. Your martial arts.
Yeah.
So you might not be able to do that, but we are talking about it. What's the movement? 50 feet.
Yeah, for a lion. Yeah.
So you're up to 75. Another 10 is 85, and then 95 with Wood Strider. And then if you're a ranger first round, 105, but you could dash.
And you can dash. Yeah.
So you could cover 210 feet worth of distance in the first round.
All right. So this is 3 levels of ranger, 3 levels of druid, and 14 levels of monk.
Yeah. If you want to just be totally ridiculous.
Well, so I mean, and you can story this out too. You can be.
I think druid monk works really well together.
Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. You could be like somebody that studies animal forms. Make that a major thing of your martial art, and then from a ranger perspective, ranger and druid play very nice together, so it kind of makes sense that you just have this you commune with nature an awful lot, and so those things
You're
all
woodsy.
those things all kind of make sense.
I feel like they're easier. I think the druid's a little more of a stretch.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's
I think
sort
a
of
druid monk, they both are like
contemplatives.
wisdom-based things. They both
Contemplatives,
a druid hangs out on nature all day and stares at the squirrels, and so does a monk, probably.
studying their forms.
So, I mean...
Well, yeah, and also too, like a monk is really another term for a ecclesiastical type of person, and a druid is just like a nature bent version of that.
Yeah.
So I think story-wise, I don't think you're in trouble. Like, if you're not looking at the classes as the pure, like Boris Stremlin's sure to argue with this because he views the classes as their vocation, right? Whereas like I just say these are things that make my character who they are.
I agree. I mean, it's a collection of skills. Yeah. Right. I have a druid I'm going to be playing next week, and I just, instead of saying he's a druid, I just say basically he uses naturomancy. So there's definitely different ways to look at it. You can kind of theme it out and work with it. You could also switch out barbarian in there somewheres as well for the overall movement. But the druid does make you a lot more mobile as far as ignoring difficult terrain. That first round with the stalker, it definitely makes for some ridiculousness that can be pulled off.
Well, especially too, like if you have an agenda in the course of the adventure that isn't really about winning a combat encounter, but accomplishing a specific thing, getting a thing to a place. This is the build that's going to get the job done. As far as that goes, like you have to go put an item in a slot somewhere to like keep Armageddon from happening, and you don't really give a shit about what's going on about the combat, but you just want to get up there to the temple and put the idol in the slot. This is the character that's going to do it.
Yeah, it's like an army of undead in front of you, and like, oh no, how are we going to get through this? Just give me the thing.
Yeah,
I'll be back in 5 rounds.
Now, all that being said, I feel like now over and over again, me and Ted have definitely said in our videos that we feel like single class is more powerful overall than multi-classing.
Yeah,
I feel like this build will be very good at moving and being mobile, but it's probably going to
fall by the wayside. Exactly.
On some other things.
Sometimes, like, I want to explore a character class more so to see, like, can I make this character do this really one interesting feature really well? And all right, you're going to be you're trading off power and other things in a very specific focus to be able to do. It's like the paladin warlock because of smiting, So
for instance, I believe what'll happen is, you're going to have 6 casting levels, but you're probably going to end up with like 4 casting levels,
right?
From your druid and your ranger, because ranger is going to be half your level, and druid will be your level. Now, I don't remember if it rounds up or down. If it rounds up, then you only lose 1 level. It's not as bad, but you're gonna have 5th level spellcasting ability, but you won't actually have any 5th level spells.
Right.
So your spells will be weak. You don't get any cantrips from being a ranger.
Yeah.
So you have a little bit of a selection, but it's not going to be extensive. Again, we kind of cherry picked it for some specific things. Longstrider is a great one for this kind of build. Also, I think Pass Without Trace works really nicely for a character that's more about moving around, maybe not being detected. I don't know if Pass Without Trace does anything as far as terrain, which will be kind of a moot point for this character, but it definitely gives you a bonus to your stealth checks.
Yeah. So there we go. And you have, with those levels, you don't have to be a wood elf. Like halfling, again, super sweet for various reasons. Human, Aarakocra, or you could fall back to the wood elf to have that extra 5 foot of movement when you're not all like zoned out with your spells and this and that.
I almost feel like the human is the way to go with the final build we did. Just to get your feat selection first.
Right.
Yeah, starting with mobility is really
because being a wood elf isn't going to matter so much if you're more focused on wild shaping, for speed than other methods.
Right.
So that I think that pretty much covers it. How would you guys build your fleet of foot speedster, outmaneuver your foe's character? Let us know in the comments below. While you're at it, like, share, and subscribe.
You can check us out over on Instagram.
You can also check us out at Nerdarchy.com.
So until next time, stay nerdy.
It's large or bigger though. I do believe like they can because that's under the size rules.
Yeah.
So just as a general rule of thumb, they're going to be able to get underfoot more readily than others. So again, we also have a couple of key classes that you would want to think about stacking with those races as well.
Yeah.
We have barbarian.
Yes.
Obviously.
And there's, the most obvious choices.
Oh, you know what? So that's a pretty spectacular trait to it as well.
Now, the Lightfoot Halfling might be worth mentioning as well, only because
So they get less feet of movement.
Yes.
Because they're little.
they're little, but they have the ability to move through other people's squares.
This is true. Right. So your own party, like, they're not obstacles to you, which is super handy. And you can use your party as human shields.
Yeah, so does it have to be a friendly square, or could they move through anybody's square?
I think it's ally. Like, I think it specifically
Okay.
says ally. I'll look it up, you guys.
But
talk
I do
amongst
believe,
yourselves.
though, if both of
'Cause
them
you
are
get,
flyers,
you get wings either which way.
Yes. And mobility just says movement. It doesn't, it doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure it just says movement.
Yeah, it does say movement. Yep.
So it's going to make you faster either way. And granted, it's not the fastest build, but you're gaining 3 dimensions.
Yeah, getting flight is amazing.
Yeah, and also the major boon of the mobile feat. So there is the extra 10 feet of movement, pretty sweet. But the best part about it is not drawing of attacks of opportunity for anybody that you don't have to hit them. You just need to attack them, right? So,
Here, right?
Yeah, we
Right.
are.
So, quickness and maneuverability. I think it's about being fast, but it's also about getting around the battlefield.
Not being murdered by attacks of opportunity would be helpful.
So there's several races that stand out to me right off the bat. Obviously, the Wood Elf,
Right.
human variant, because you can grab mobility right out the door.
Yeah. Because the mobile feat is definitely something you're going to want with this type of build.
And for if you're playing in a game where your DMs are not wussies, you could definitely go with the Aarakocra or even the variant Tiefling as well. Because
Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Nerdarchy Ryan, and today I'm joined by
Nathan and Ark.
Nerdarchy Dave.
And today we talk about running circle around your enemies with the Speedster D&D character.
Jump down in the description below where you can find Nerdarchy, the newsletter. Gain RPG tips as well as learn how to game with Nerdarchy.
So we're gonna build a character that's the fastest fighter on the field, or maybe other character classes. What would we do to build that?
So
We're just looking for quickness.